First Peter chapter 4 verse 1. For as much then as the anointed Yahushua has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he has suffered in the flesh, has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live with the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of Yahweh. Giving all praises unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations unto the elect of the nation of Israel. It's the brother Tawab Paryah from the Providence, Rhode Island camp, coming at you with a quick lesson in transit. And essentially, we just wanted to touch on the mindset to have in these days, as we are getting closer and closer to a time period in which our faith is going to be tested, and we're going to be we're going to be tested to the point where our enemy is going to try to get us to commit sin, and that great sin referring to taking the mark of the beast. That's the type of sin right there where you can't turn back from. Okay, you can't turn back from it, because the mark of the beast is the way where the enemy, or the devil, he sets his mark upon you, and you are likened unto one of his, as if he created you. So reading these couple verses, First Peter the 4th chapter, is heavy, because we are being given the instruction to have the same mind as Yahushua did. Because when we read in the second verse that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh of the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High. When it comes down to that mark of the beast being pushed out to the earth, these Edomites are going to be trying to play at our flesh. They're going to try to lure us in through lust. Lust is another form of like wanting something, okay, or strongly desiring something. It doesn't always have to do with something sexual. Most of the time it is applied to that, but it doesn't always mean that. All right, you can lust after anything, but when it comes to the point where the mark of the beast is pushed throughout the whole earth, as is written in Revelation 13, let me just read it quickly. In Revelation 13, in verse 16, it says, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. All right, and the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, the digital technology, where it's going to be something that gradually gets pressed upon the whole earth, the inhabitants thereof, of the earth. Verse 17 says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, in the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So essentially, you won't be able to be that consumer that you are now. When I say buying things and doing everything essentially freely, with the money, the so-called dollar, in that time, you're going to play at your flesh, because you're going to want to eat. You're going to want to drink. You're going to want to buy things. You're going to want to sell things. That's the battle that the whole world is going to face. So when we talk about Jacob's trouble, it ain't just Jacob's trouble. It's the whole world's trouble. All right? The scripture here written in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, it references it as the hour of temptation. See, He's gonna cause us to be tempted. Revelation 3:10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, which that's referring to those that truly believe. those that stood firm for the truth. And the Lord said, those that stand for the truth unto death, he's going to fight for them. But it goes ahead and says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, which are these scriptures, it says, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them which dwell upon the earth. Alright, so everybody's going to get faced with that moment where they have to choose between life and death. And the men and the believers of Yahweh Shem Shah, they're not going to choose death. They're going to choose life, even if it costs them their life. But they have the same mind as Yahweh Shah. They have the same mind as Yahweh Shah. Verse 11 says, behold, I come quickly. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown, that no man strip you from your salvation. That's what that goes into. Because those that don't receive that mark of the beast, they the ones are most likely, the ones that don't receive the mark of the beast and that receive that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, they the ones that shall receive salvation. They're the ones that are going to be delivered. They're the ones that are going to be crowned by that one man that standeth taller than the rest. When we read in 2nd Esdras. Please grab it. It's the 3rd chapter. Maybe 4. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 2. Second Esdras chapter 2, verse 38. Arise up and stand. Behold the number of those that be sealed in the feast of the Lord, which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received glorious garments of the Lord. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. See, this is something that don't pertain to everybody on the planet Earth. This doesn't pertain to all nations. This is only for the children of Israel. You know, it's only for the Israel of the Most High, because not all of Israel is of the Israel of the Most High. There's rebellious Israelites that refuse to acknowledge their ways and don't want to acknowledge the reward that's supposed to come to those that are obedient. But those that do, they receive that garment, receive blessing. Verse 41, the number of thy children which thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed. This is all predetermined. Everything that we do, every day we wake up, is predetermined. In the book of Job, it tells us how the angel seals the instructions into the people during their time when they're in their deep sleep. So every day that we wake up, we must know that ultimately is a part of the Most High's plan, and there's nothing that we can do to disrupt that. So those that are sealed for destruction, no one can save them, and those that are sealed for salvation, no one can take it away from them. All right. So going on, it says, verse 42, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people who I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns. So that one tall one is referring to Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the one that's going to be that tall one, high stature, right? Placing crowns upon the heads of those that were able to fight the temptations, fight the lust of the flesh, and all of those things. You know, they were declared as just in the eyes of the Most High, right? But people, how it says the crowns, man. We read in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, how we were, you know, told, hey, don't let any man take your crown. This is that crown right here. It's really, it's something that only the true believers of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai are gonna really consider. But it says, and he said crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, "Sir, what are these?" And he said, "These are they that have put off the mortal clothing," right? Like we started off in the book of Peter. Put off that mind of this world, and put on that mind of Yahweh Shai. It says, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Now they crowned and receive palms, which means they received the victory. The palms goes into victory. Verse 46. Then said I unto the angel, what young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth their palms in their hands? So he answered and said to me, it is the son of Yahweh, who they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. You see that? So we have a reward for putting on the mind of Yahweh Shai. There's a reward that no man can take away if it's predetermined to be given to you. So essentially, fearing the Lord, fearing everything comes from on high, man. And we just have to hope that we on the right side of the Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. But with that, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors, apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.